Welcome, ladies and gents. Avatar: The Last Airbender on Netflix. It's looking like it's going to be really divisive. Massively so. Critics, some are reporting that it's rotten. It's not currently rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. But the critics aren't exactly loving it. And the fans, that's very mixed as well. It's mixed positive, as an FYI. You guys might love it. I don't know. In fact, I spoke to a friend today, and he strongly recommended it. So I'm going to ask you guys, what do you think? Let me know down below. But we're going to take a look. This is quite a big endeavour for Netflix to do. But it was always a little bit alarming because the creators of the show departed ways and they cited creative differences. So that was always a bit of a red flag, as it always is, quite frankly. But this is a huge endeavour for Netflix to go through. Massive, massive, massive production. Huge, huge. So this is just a brief article. They're like, oh, it's a flop. Well, I mean, it is and it isn't. The review embargo was lifted immediately as they dropped the series, which is never a positive sign, ever. It's always a little bit, what's going on there? But here's some of the reviews, right? So Digital Spy is a 3 out of 5. Ultimately, Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender is like a worse version of the in-universe The Boy in the Iceberg play from the Ember Island Players episode of the original show. Okay. Oh no, that's actually discussing film. The way they lay this out. Digital Spy says, for those who are open to taking the remake at face value, there's a lot of fun to be had. And that's also true for long-time fans who approach the series with an open mind. Empire. This adaptation is caught between impulses. It trusts its audiences less than a children's show did, while trying to be the last Airbender for grown-ups. Some canny casting choices can't rescue the show from uninspiring craft and tonal confusion. I don't know. We'll take a look. Someone compares it. IGN compares it to, Mashable compare it to Cowboy Bebop. Better than Cowboy Bebop. Still comparable. Less enjoyable than One Piece. Avatar: The Last Airbender falls smack dab in the middle of Netflix's own live-action adaptations, just as it does with its own predecessors. Wow. So, let's not just rely on the critics. Let's see what fans are saying. And this is why I asked you guys what you thought. If you're a fan, if you're watching it, what do you guys think? I often ask you guys this stuff because, you know what, frankly, I don't know whether I should waste my time. Basically. There's other stuff I could do. So this is where I ask you on some of these things whether I should waste my time or not. But here you have it. Like, underwhelming. Average acting, unnecessary changes to the story, disappointing adaptation. But there's a lot of positives, right? 5-star. The creators summarised the 20 episodes in an exceptional way. Each episode feels like watching the animated series. At times it feels a little rushed, but it never feels forced. I loved this adaptation and I cried when I saw the benders. The inner child in me wants to say something to that, but I can't. These critics can suck mud. Though there are scenes that are quite campy, most of the scenes are stellar for what it's worth. I love seeing my favourite characters come to life. The animals, the world building. Have you seen how gorgeous June is? She should come back. There should be a season 2. Don't know who June is. I presume she's attractive. This adaptation of Avatar is poorly executed. It does not have all the essence of the original animated series. The acting is mediocre and the dialogue is also mediocre. Not even the VFX can compensate the poor acting, the poor dialogue, and the fast pace of the series, in addition to the slow motion in the fights. Slow motion fights, that's not good. After understanding this was a live action adaptation of the anime, meaning it won't be 100% faithful to source material, not always what works with cartoon, it's going to do it with real people. I really enjoyed it after waiting many, many years for it. I think the CGI was really good. I was worried about the bending effects. The essence of the characters we loved was there. Also, the casting was perfect, mostly. Again, there's a lot of good ones. Is it painfully mid? Yes. Is that insulting since it adapts possibly the greatest TV show of all time? Double yes. Greatest TV show of all time. There are some hardcore fans out there of this, isn't there? Butchered everything except the sets. Some actors tried to save it but couldn't do much with what they were given. A pointless remake of a much-loved show. Again, some positive. I'm a big fan of the animated series, and I love the new show. We don't have to compare it to the original series. Well, I mean, you kind of do. You really you do. You do. And if you watch it as its own thing, you'll come to appreciate it so much more. So it fails as an adaptation then, does it? That's a weird comment to say. Although there are certain scenes that are shot for shot, I want more of this universe, and I think this is a great start. That is an odd review, not going to lie. I loved it. I don't care what people say. The only thing I can criticise is that I wish they dedicated more time to character interactions. More filler stuff. That's what I want in my series. I want more filler. After watching the first episode of the live-action Avatar, I watched the first episode of the animated series again. In the first couple lines of dialogue in the animated series, I fell in love with Aang, Sokka, and Katara all over again. In the live-action series, there is definitely something lacking. I understand that the live-action series is meant to be its own thing, but as a standalone series, it's not engaging. Is it really meant to be its own thing, though? Considering it is... I mean, it is making its name from the original. Is it its own thing at that point? Should it be judged as its own thing? I ask you guys. I don't think that's the case. I think these things inevitably will always be compared. Right? You can't be like, well, it's an adaptation. I don't know about that. Great, although the writing is sometimes a bit cringe and some of the animated series humour is missing. But there's lots of positives. Like I said, look, loads of positives. This was a really satisfying watch. We'll go so far as to call it amazing. Oh, I wouldn't, sorry. But frankly, season 1 of the animated series was its weakest. As well out of the original trilogy. Like that one, I feel like the creative team is hitting the ground running. But then I wonder if people think differently if they knew that the creators had left. Questionable casting, piss poor writing, a disappointing divergence from the essence of the original series. Was this better than the movie? Unquestionably. Better animation and bending, better casting, and overall a much better adaptation. But man, it's not much better. The performances from the very start were lacking at best, and overall did not have a polished or deep understanding of the original series. Wow. Well, there you go. I mean, there's not much else to say, to be honest. If you've seen it, do you agree or disagree with either or the positive or negative reviews? I'd genuinely love to hear your thoughts. What do you guys think? Should I watch it? Should I invest however many hours it's going to be into watching this show? Let me know your thoughts. Take care.